Welcome to this FS23 tutorial video. In this video I'll show you how you can earn much money with silage in FS23. And I'll show you from this beginning of a new save game. So I just started the save game, and the first thing I do is I harvest this field because we can use all the money we can get, and the plan is to harvest this field, sell the wheat, and then I buy a plow to plow all the fields and then sow grass on all the fields. And when this is done, I sell nearly all the equipment I have and use this money to buy the equipment that I need for silage building. Yeah, or silage production, so to say. And yeah, as far as I calculated here, you can see how I'm plowing. And usually this John Deere tractor is too weak for this plow, but it works quite nice. And yeah, you can earn around 85,000 bucks with one harvest of those three small fields with the silage. And with normal grain and a production, I earn about 30,000. So it's nearly 3 times more with the silage. So now I have sown all the fields full of grass, and so we are done with the preparations, so to say. And now we go to the dealership, and I made this because in Neubrunn, because in Neubrunn the dealership is very close to the farm, so this part of it is much easier. And I sell nearly everything except the John Deere tractor, and I'll tell you something about it. But first we start selling the combine. And yeah, this is a voiceover video because it took me around 8 hours to record this, to do all the stuff and record it. And I thought, okay, I won't do it again for an English video. I use the German video and make a voiceover. And therefore sometimes I sit here and wait until something happens, and yes, now something happens. Okay, we get more than 100,000 bucks from the combine alone, and then you have to be aware that when you do this, you can't grow crops for quite a while until you are rich enough again to buy all this stuff again, the combine, the sewing machine, and all this will be gone, and only this John Deere is left over. Now you have two possibilities. Either you take this John Deere, which is a little bit too weak for the baling machine, but it works. I have tried it, it worked quite nice. I was content with the speed, but on the steepest part of the hill it gets a little bit slowly. Then you can afford a fertilizer spreader, or if you want a stronger tractor, you sell this. You buy the Landini tractor. This is within the money range. The Landini tractor with 225 horsepower, but then you will rather not have enough money to buy a fertilizer spreader. And yeah, And I decided to try it with the John Deere, and I was quite happy to do it with the John Deere. In the end, I kept it because it was working very, very nice. Here I show you the alternative tractor. This Landini there in the middle for 169,000 bucks. This is awesome. In my tests, I tried it with the Landini, and it is a wonderful machine. But the John Deere is strong enough. I found that it's strong enough. Even if it's only 190 horsepower and the baler needs 230 horsepower. So the John Deere is somehow stronger than you can see on the paper or written in numbers. Yeah, so you can decide whether it's important for you to have a very strong enough tractor, then take the Landini and sell the John Deere, or if you say, oh, fertilizer spreader is very important, I want more yield, then you keep the John Deere. But whatever you do, you can change this after the first harvest. So after the first harvest, you have enough money to buy the stronger tractor and the fertilizer spreader, because then you will have quite some money. And now we buy all the equipment. Here is the mower, this butterfly mower. When you buy this, the front mower will appear in front of your tractor automatically. So you buy both mowers in one go. And then I decided to buy the small windrower, because I was a little bit anxious about the money. When I tried the solution with the Landini, the money was very scarce, so it barely worked somehow. It just worked. But the solution with the John Deere, I have had money left over in the end. And now this is the baler. This is the most important machine. It costs nearly 160,000 bucks, and it needs 230 horsepower, but the John Deere works, as I said. And then we need the baler loader, the wagon, the wagon that carries the bales. It's expensive. It's nearly 100,000 bucks. And then you need the wrapper, because only when wrapped there will be silage. And yeah, so now we have the most important stuff together. And I'll buy the fertilizer spreader. Or first I check the money and I see, oh, it's good with the money. And then I go to the fertilizer spreader. And with the fertilizer spreader, you have a better yield from the beginning, and therefore you can earn more money. And so if you can afford a fertilizer spreader, I think it's really worth it. And the plow, I plowed before sowing the grass, will help as well. And here are the machines that we need. And you see, we only have one tractor on the whole farm. No combine, nothing but a mower and a baler and everything we need for silage. Yeah. And now the work can begin. Our hero tractor. This tractor has to do all the work. And later when you are richer, you can buy a second tractor for sure. You could buy a tractor for the easy stuff. So the first thing I do is I fertilize the grass. First I waited one day to have it grown. And the helper somehow is not so keen on doing the fertilizer work, so I had to do it myself, but it's okay. Fertilizing is always a fast task. And then after 4 days, so in January, it has been 5 days after the sowing. Then we had the fully grown grass. You could harvest already 1 day earlier, but then the yield is lower, and therefore I waited 1 day longer, and now it starts. And you can see the front mower that appears, that is just there as soon as you attach the back mower. And this mowing combination doesn't make a swath. As you can see, it spreads the grass wide over the whole working width, and therefore we need the windrower. Yeah, now it is done, and I show you that there is this front mower. And then the windrowing will start. So, and as you can see, we still have 40,000 bucks left over. So the money was quite okay. Oh, and it's important to sell all the stuff at the dealership, because then you get a much better price than if you sell it through the menu. Here we have this teensy tiny windrower. Usually in FS22 I don't even take those. I think, okay, my working width is big enough, I don't need such a small windrower. But with this baler, the working width is very, very narrow. And so a bigger windrower wouldn't even be a good idea, because then the swath becomes too big. So I think this small, tiny windrower is just the right thing for the baling. And here we finally have the baler, and we started. And now there is no more helper for us. This has to be done by ourselves. And yeah, here in FS22 it's not so easy with the swath. So if you drive totally precise in the absolute center of the swath, then you get the whole swath if you do it slowly. But if not, you only get half of the swath, and then you can decide, okay, I only take half of the swath anyhow, and go 2 times over the swath. But when I was done with my fields, I had learned how to stay on the swath in the center, and then you only have to go 1 time over the swath. So it's a little bit training needed. And for me it helped to go very slowly. And here you can see this is the only problem of the John Deere. When it's steep with the baler, it is rather slowly. So it was about 5 kilometers per hour, so it's the same speed as walking. And here we already have one bale done. And when you are choosing the method that you always only take the half of one swath in one go, you should push out the bales at the end of the field, because then it would the bales would lay on the swath, and you can push the bales out with switching off the baler. Then all the bales come out. And here we are done. And the next thing is that we can wrap the bales. Yeah. And yeah, the whole process took me around a good hour. So this has been around 40 minutes, the baling. And in this 40 minutes, I learned how to stay on the swath. And on most swaths, I could just get the whole one. Sometimes there were some leftovers. And this is the wrapper. The bales are now only grass bales. After wrapping, they are silage bales. And with the grass bales, you can sell them, but they don't bring much money. But the silage bales bring quite some money. So it's really worth the additional work. And from me personally, it's always a lot of fun to wrap the bales, because it looks so funny. And yeah, then you have those nice big packets laying around. And yeah, you hop from one bale to the other, and it's a fun work, I would say. And if you want to know whether there are other possibilities to make silage in FS23, the answer is no. We can't harvest the grass with a loading wagon, and then we can harvest grass with a loading wagon, but we can't make silage out of it, and there are no round bales in FS23. So you have to take the equipment that I use here. And now they are all wrapped. We have 24 bales, and this wagon is good for 14 bales. And yeah, this is a fun part too, I would say, because then you can collect what you produced, and you can be happy about all the money that will come into your pockets rather soon. And therefore I like this bale collecting. Yeah, so I will fill up this this wagon, and then we will go and sell it, and I will show you where we can sell it. So, and as you can see, this is working nearly exactly like in FS22, and even in FS17 we had it like that. It's a kind of auto-loading process, but not as magic as with the pallet trailer. Because it happens rather similar in reality too. Maybe you have to drive a little bit better in reality, but there is this thing that collects the bale, and then it is stacked onto this trailer. Yeah, and here are the next ones. Okay, now it's full. it's done. And we can have a look where we can sell it. And on Emberstone it is rather similar, this selling process, but at different places on the map. And but I'm sure you can find it. So first we check the price. It's rather far down. Here we have the silage. And we can sell it at the animal dealer and at the BGA. And right now it's just the same price. Usually the prices are different and you can choose the one that has a better price. But for this time it's good because we have more or less 1.5 wagon and we can sell those at both places, and then I can show you both places. In Neubrunn the animal dealer is up in the north, so we have to cross the river and then we are nearly there. And the BGL, here we are already. And what I experienced when I first sold my bales, the unloading process started already when the bale area of the trailer was not in the selling area. So I had to push them afterwards. And therefore I drove a little bit further now. And like this, it's working wonderful. And we get 50,000 bucks for our 14 bales. And the unloading process starts by itself. Or did I need to push a button? And here we are at the BGA, and as you can see, it's close, very close to the animal dealer in Neubrunn. And I'm sure you will find it at Emberstone if you play at Emberstone. And I was wondering where to sell the silage, because there are 2 selling stations at the BGA. But don't worry, I found out in the end. So first I tried the more or less obvious place in the front here. But yeah, they write you can sell your chaff and your grass. And no unloading process starts. And therefore it is further down. Where is this big square bucket? That here seems to be a buying station, maybe for digestate. And here we are, and here it just opens up automatically and it unfolds and unloads. And we get the money. And it's 35,000 plus. So we have 85,000 from this one harvest of these 3 fields. And yeah, my experience is when I harvest grain and I make flour out of it, I get around 30,000 for one harvest. So this is nearly the silage is nearly 3 times as much. And here we have a look at the prices in the seasons. So at the moment we are at the rather good price. It goes down. In August it's rather far down. So if you can afford it next August, if you do this, to wait and sleep 4 nights or so, or 5 nights, then you get a much better price. So maybe you have to be prepared to if you can afford it, to not sell in August, but better wait, and you can store your bales into your bales storage in the barn that we have on the farm. And now there is the question, what to do next? What will be the next steps? To make more silage, it will be obvious. You just fertilize and then wait and sleep and sleep and sleep, and then is the next harvest time. And it is a little bit tedious, or it's grinding, because you need at least 1 hour, 1 and a half to do all the work yourself, and the helper has to do the mowing. And so if you do it yourself, you maybe need 2 hours for each harvest or so. But you get quite some money, much more money than with the grains, where you can let the helper do all the job. So that is something you have to decide, whether you really want to invest your real time into the silage production. Yeah, and as you have much more money after one harvest already, you can decide, do I want a bigger tractor, or do I want to have a herbicide sprayer, or do I want to have maybe another tractor, a tiny one that helps you? Then you can work with double power, at least the thing that the helper thinks the helper can do. Maybe you could buy sheeps after a while and give them some of the grass, not the wrapped bales, but the unwrapped bales. And so you are already producing food for the sheep. And then you could buy a spinnery and a tailor, if you so wish. So this is totally up to you. And when you have enough money, you can buy fields and start with grains again. And then you can have the whole variety and the whole machinery that you need for silage and grain. So you can do nearly everything you want from here. Okay, that's it. I wish you good money earning and a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.